In this video, let's talk about functions as values and anonymous functions. In Go, functions are first-class values. They can have types, can be assigned to variables, and passed as arguments to other functions. For example, let's take a simple hello function. Now let's define a new variable h and assign the function to it. We do that without specifying the arguments and the parentheses. In this case, the function is assigned to a variable, but it's not yet executed. Now we can go ahead and check the type of our new variable. As you can see, the type of a variable is a function with two string arguments. Now, if we want to call the function assigned to a variable, all we need to do is to specify its arguments in parentheses. And it prints the greeting message on the screen. Since a function can be a type and we can assign it to a variable, this means we can also pass a function as an argument to another function. Let's take another example. We're going to define two new functions to build formal and informal greeting messages for a person. We start by defining a person structure. Now we can define our functions to build different greeting messages. The formal greeting functions uses the person's title and person's last name. The informal greeting uses only the person's first name. Now we define a hello function, which is going to accept a person and a greeting function. Now let's create a person and call the function with different greeting arguments. When we call the hello function the first time, we pass formal greeting function. The second call uses informal greeting. At this moment, neither formal greeting nor informal greeting functions wasn't executed. They are going to be executed inside the hello function. And we can see both types of the greetings on the screen. In Go, we can define functions only on the package level. That means we cannot define a regular function inside another function. For example, if we move our greeting functions to the main, that is not going to work. But what if we don't want to increase a scope where the functions can be used, even if they can be used within the current package? That's where the anonymous functions come in handy. An anonymous function, as you can guess, it's a function without a name. So let's slightly refactor our implementation to use anonymous functions. Now our greeting functions are anonymous, but since we still need to pass them to the hello function, we are assigning them to variables. If we run the program now, we can see that is a working solution. As I already mentioned, we don't need to assign a function to a variable. We can also define a function while calling the hello function. Let's take a look at the following example. In this example, we pass whole function as a second argument to the hello function. It is also possible to define and call the anonymous function right away. As you remember, to call a function, we use its name followed by parentheses. Since the anonymous function has no name, we call it by adding parentheses after the function definition. Again, the first part of a function is a function body. Then we use the parentheses, passing the argument to call this function. That was a quick introduction into functions as values and anonymous functions.